So today I'll be presenting on From Other to Scientist, a personal journey of belonging and empowerment in science. So first, let me introduce myself. My name is Carmela Gore, and I'm from the inner city of Detroit. My journey in science has been shaped by both passion and the challenges posed, by different societal barriers. So when I look back on my journey, I see a young Black girl from the inner city of Detroit who loves science, but I was told more times than once within high school, especially me going to a predominantly white school, and my college that I started off at, which was also predominantly white, that I would never be able to succeed in it. I heard that science wasn't for me or that I wouldn't make it. But alongside this, my mom also made it a point to put me in a space where I had mentors within the science field that looked like me and encouraged me. I actively participated in enrichment programs like the Detroit area pre-college engineering programs, Upward Bound, Girls Who Code, and that spark of passion inside me kept whispering that despite what the naysayers said, I could do science and there was a space for me in this field. So Jane Gilbert in her article Science and Its Other explains that, and I quote, much research in gender and science education works within unexamined definitions of both gender and science. This is on page 862. This hit me because growing up, I wasn't just seen as a girl. I was a Black girl from Detroit, and to many people, that automatically meant that I couldn't be seen as the stereotypical picture of a scientist. So next, the early exposure through programs. So what made the difference for me were the people and programs that opened doors. I was exposed to science through enrichment programs like after school STEM programs, like I mentioned earlier. Detroit Area Pre-College Engineering Program was available to students in grades third through 12th grade, and there were weekly programs in all different fields of science that were free to Detroit students or Detroit residents and taught us about all these different fields and had us around Black and brown scientists who looked like us to encourage us and let us know we could be in these spaces. And they also hosted it on college campuses so that we got to have that experience very early on. Um, and these mentors truly believed in me, and I'm still close to them to this day. They didn't just teach me formulas or lab te techniques, but they also affirmed that I belonged. Gilbert writes, it's not enough to just increase women's participation in science. We must question the structure that define who counts as a scientist. My mentors did exactly that. They didn't expect me to act like someone else to belong. They showed me I could be a scientist as myself. So again, Gilbert emphasized the need to challenge existing structures that dictate who count, and I'm grateful for those who helped me realize that. Okay, so my journey did not come without struggles and resistance. It wasn't always easy. I carried the weight of stereotypes and discouragement, especially being the only Black girl in many of the spaces when I was growing up, not only within my classroom settings, but also in these other programs. Sometimes I felt like an outsider in the lab or the classroom. But my mom made it very clear to me that I did belong, even if people around me did not look like me or weren't from where I was from. So Gilbert describes this perfectly. Girls are often positioned as outsiders in science. They can participate, but only as a substitute of men. Um, but luckily for me, I was encouraged to speak out, be vocal, learn what I needed to know, and kind of get over that self-doubt. I would say that my biggest struggle probably came before I transferred to Alabama A&M at my school because I truly struggled in transitioning into the rigor of the STEM program and not having adequate support. So that's again, I've always been in communities of individuals who had encouraged me for the most part and helped facilitate a safe space for me to grow and learn. And that transition was a bit shocking and kind of I was thrown off because of it. And I really did struggle my first year in my program, which caused me to think that I was, again, not a scientist, nor was I capable of being in that space. But through a personal journey to identity, I experienced transformative moments. I also came to Alabama A&M where I was surrounded by Black teachers and professors. This was the first time I ever had a Black teacher or professor in all of my formal education years. And especially majoring in science, I was around Black scientists. And I was able to embrace my passions and expertise and also get the support that I needed in order to succeed. So Gilbert challenges us by saying the challenge is to design ways for young women to participate in science as women. I was given many opportunities to do that through Alabama A&M through summer research programs. I had the opportunity to go to a nuclear lab and spend a summer. I went to UCLA and did research on antibiotic resistance. So I was always given opportunities to be in spaces where not only did I get to witness science, but also have an active part in it and, be a part of that journey. So I didn't erase who I was to fit into science. I brought my identity, my culture, and my experiences as a Black woman into the work that I did and also navigated to find what space in science I truly felt that I belonged. So now I'm really focused on giving back and educating and encouraging the next generation. I see myself in the young girls who look at science and wonder, is it for me? And my answer will always be absolutely yes. Gilbert reminds us we need to look underneath terms of women in science to find new possibilities. For me, that means creating classrooms, programs, and opportunities um, and to help the next generation thrive. I've been blessed to work in many impact spaces that also are centered around the STEM fields. I had a job at University of Alabama in Birmingham where I helped students specifically from underserved communities across Alabama matriculate and get into medical school. There, it was an undergraduate pipeline program. So just being able to work in these spaces and educate the next generation of scientists, innovators, thinkers, and those who will take care of us is such a blessing for me because I've also had that and I'm still growing and learning in these spaces. So lastly, I'm reclaiming science and redefining belonging. So today when I say I'm a scientist, I say it with pride. I say it for the little girl in Detroit who was told no, for the young lady and for the young people I now am able to mentor, and for every student who wonders if they belong, because we do. And we're changing what science looks like, one story, one discovery, and one dream at a time. So thank you so much.